Hello and welcome back to goldstocktrades.com. Today we have a new and special guest with us, Rich Munson. Rich is CEO of Sandspring Resources, which can be traded as SSP on the venture and as SSPXF on the OTC. Thanks, Rich, for taking the time out of your schedule to be with us today.
Oh, appreciate it very much, Jeb. Great to be able to talk to you and your followers. Thanks.
There's very few gold projects like Toraparo, and the gold market has, 2016, we've had a complete shift in the gold market. Investors are looking for those top tier assets which have the potential for as being a takeout target. Could you talk to us about where Sandspring Toraparo project sits in that shelf of junior mining projects?
Well, Jeb, I believe that Sandspring's quite uniquely positioned for people to participate in an opportunity for one, a potential takeout, and two, for a very successful development. Sandspring is a very advanced project, and part of our advancement came from our good fortune to attract Silver Wheaton Corporation to Sandspring back in 2013. In early 2013, we published a pre-feasibility report, in fact, in April of 2013, and it showed a pretty strong project. However, I have to caution you that the gold price we used at that point in time was relatively prevailing price of $1,400 gold. But we did do sensitivities in the pre-feasibility down to $1,250. But with that pre-feasibility, we were able to attract the interest of the gold streaming companies, and we had discussions with several of those, but we're fortunate enough to be able to secure a commitment from Silver Wheaton. For those folks in your audience that don't know Silver Wheaton, I have to tell you that in all my years in this business, which is 35 plus, I've never seen a third party come in and do as incredible a due diligence program as Silver Wheaton did. Silver Wheaton's unique in the streaming company circles, if you will, because they have a very strong in-house team of people. They don't rely upon consulting companies to do their due diligence. So Silver Wheaton came in and took our pre-feasibility study and literally tore it down to first principles. And just as an example of what they were looking at on the technical side, I sat in a couple meetings with our engineers talking to Silver Wheaton, and we were down to talking about how many loaders could be in a specific area of the pit at any given time so that we could be seeing if we were maximizing production. So you can see that kind of detail. Silver Wheaton came back at the end of their several months of work and said that this was the best pre-feasibility study by a junior that they had encountered in their years of looking at projects. And Sandspring then became the first company in the junior developer sector that Silver Wheaton has ever done a transaction with. So they then advanced us some money, committed to pay us for the gold stream about 30% of the upfront capex for our project, which for a junior was just very significant for us. And then they worked with us through 2014 very closely. We met with them monthly, and they had all the information as we developed through the final feasibility work. At the end of 2014, we delivered to Silver Wheaton a relatively near final feasibility work product, but we chose with their agreement not to spend the extra few $100,000 to put it into final report form, because as everyone knows that's listening to this, December of 2014, there wasn't much of an interest in large 1 gram gold projects. I can't speak for the reaction of Silver Wheaton to that final feasibility work, but I think it's an indication of their continuing commitment that in early 2015, they agreed to expand the stream to include some silver from the project and advanced us some additional money at a time when we were struggling, frankly, to stay alive. So we see them as a long-term partner, and they're a great technical sounding board for us and for our people. They're helping us with an exploration program that we're undertaking right now. So I don't think you're going to find many juniors out there that have that kind of a technical endorsement and financial commitment from a very major multi-billion-dollar market cap company.
Rich, that the Toroporo pre-feasibility study showed close to a 7 million ounce resource, and that could produce over 225,000 ounces of gold annually. That's quite significant. So can you talk to us about what you're working on now to advance this project towards production? I know that 2016 has been an exciting year with some of the financial. You've improved your financial position. Could you explain to us how you're advancing the project towards production?
Certainly. And I'd step back a little bit, Jeb, into 2015 when we did a transaction that brought in Fiore Capital as a second very strong financial partner with Sandspring. And at that point in time, we worked with the Fiore people, Frank Giustra, et cetera, on what we could be doing in that very down market back in 2015 to add shareholder value. And over the course of the years that we've been working on Toroparo, we had done some very systematic geochemistry work in the area around Toroparo, and our geologists had identified a very promising target that we call Sona Hill, S-O-N-A. And Sona Hill's within 5 kilometers of the main Toroparo pit. The reason we recommended to Fiore and our board of directors that we pursue that target is that it's about double the grade, potentially double the grade of what we have at Toroparo. Toroparo is a 1 gram property over the pre-feasibility mine life. Sona Hill is indicating to us that it's 2 grams plus. So we took a little money in 2015 and drilled a portion of the program the geologists had laid out for us. We had very good results. Those results are highlighted in the presentation on our website. The money we just raised in May, a portion of that has been earmarked to complete the first phase of our exploration drilling at Toroparo. We've designed a program that we believe will give us enough information to determine whether or not there's an inferred resource there and at what grade. If we're successful and the results continue to come in as they did in 2015, that could be the area that we would start production in for 2 reasons. One, it's higher grade, so we'll have much better cash flow and pay back debt much quicker. And also, quite importantly, that area of the property is gold only. As your subscribers know, the Toroparo pit is gold and copper. So to start production there at the core of that property, we have to have 2 main production circuits, flotation and gold leach. If Sona Hill pans out, we would end up only having a gold leach necessity to start production. That cuts upfront capital quite significantly. So it's a very exciting opportunity for us, and one that we'll be providing some news on as we start the drilling campaign around the 1st of August. Now, that drilling campaign will be done by late November, and we'll have all the final results in early next year. But we'll be releasing news releases as we do the drilling as we go through the fall. So folks should be looking out for that kind of information. And we also are back again talking to Silver Wheaton about moving forward on the final feasibility and the timing on all of that work. So, we're still a very lean team. We cut lots of people, unfortunately, during the 13, 14 years, and Greg Barnes, my executive vice president, and I went a fair amount of time without salaries. But all that's been worth it because I've been in the project, Jeb, since 1999. And John Adams and I founded this project back in those early years, and neither one of us are leaving. So we're here to carry this through.
Rich, as we conclude, maybe you can give a little bit of a background about the district potential, about the gold deposits on the Guyana Shield, the mining jurisdiction, some of the advancements that you've made with regards to permitting.
Yes. Guyana has not been well known up until a couple of years ago. I think Sandspring and its success in 2011 and 12 brought some recognition to the country. But the primary reason folks know about Guyana at this point in time is the Aurora project that's been put into production by Guyana Goldfields. That's about 50 kilometers to the northeast of us. The importance of that project, let alone constructing a mine in this economic climate, part of the importance in my mind is that the project finance portion of that project was led by the IFC, which, as your people know, is part of the World Bank. So I've always believed that if the IFC can get comfortable with Guyana, just about every commercial bank out there can as well. So I think Guyana is a good place to be. It's the only English-speaking country in South America, British common law, a well-educated workforce, lots of good things. And as I say, we've been there since 1999. I continue to make monthly trips to Guyana, and we're very advanced in terms of permitting, and really only need one signature from the Minister of Mines to be able to go into production. So we're ready. Of course, we need a little bit of a stronger market. The region is incredibly exciting for us because we think we're an elephant country. And if you look at what our regional geology is, Jeb, which is basically around what we call the Puruni Shear Zone, and it's a very well recognized geologic feature which goes from a little east of us all the way into Venezuela. It's the same geological climate in Venezuela as it is in Guyana, but politically there's quite a difference there. But if you look at what's on the Venezuela side in the same geological regime, you're going to see discoveries of 45 to 50 million ounces of gold. Las Brisas, several of those properties over there have had great success in discovery, but none of them have been able to get into production due to all the political challenges in Venezuela. The reason you don't have that kind of discovery success in Guyana is the area between us and Venezuela has never been systematically explored. So I think as gold market comes back and we're branching out, looking at additional properties slowly, carefully, and very cost effectively, because we think there's more deposits like Guyana Goldfields Aurora and Sandspring's Toroparu.
Rich Munson, CEO of Sandspring Resources, which can be traded as SSP on the TSX Venture and as SSPXF on the OTC. Thanks so much for being here with us today.
Appreciate it very much, Jeb.